Welcome to my channel. I'm the DIY Ed and I will show you how I built this beautiful bedside table with a built-in wireless charger for under $100 each. I had the lumber pre-cut in the hardware store to save up on time. As I'm having limited space from each side of the bed, the tables will end up being 47 centimeters wide, 29 centimeters tall. With legs it will be 50 centimeters and 30 centimeters deep. For now I will be using this wireless charger until the new one arrives. The new one has its own case that you can screw under and has its own cooling system that comes with improved performance for charging speed and range. As you can see, the charger doesn't have any issues charging the phone behind the 2 cm thick wood, but I will still remove at least 5 mm from the wood to make sure that in the future if you are having phones with thicker cases it won't cause any issues. You can find the link for the wireless charger in the description. Same goes for the other stuff I'm using in this build. For now I will leave most of the video without me narrating. Most of the stuff is self-explanatory. And if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments and I will do my best to answer them. For the top part we are not using any screws. I'm putting painter's tape on the sides to keep the part from moving and putting my heavy toolbox on top to keep a good pressure. I'm using a 5-minute wood glue, so I will just leave it for at least 30 minutes before I can continue working with the piece. It's Sunday at the moment, so I'm doing most of the cuts and sanding by hand. I don't want to use any power tools to not disturb my neighbors below and above. This is a good example that you can build things without any special power tools. After marking where the grooves needs to be, I'm creating a simple jig for the router so I can do the straight cuts. I'm using a 3.5 mm routing bit and I will do the depth of cut around 4 mm. And afterwards I will use a painter's tape to mask off everything else and use a copper paint to paint in the grooves. So I decided to go with a black stain. I have used it before, I like how it looks. It has a nice shine, it's like a silk satin finish. I had problem with the new stain. After applying and drying, it ended up looking more as a dark grey instead of black. And this wasn't the look I was going for. But luckily I had enough from the old stain to use as a second coat for the outsides. And you can see the difference of shade of black from the inside and the outside. I would say if you're buying a new stain, buy a small sample, make sure you like the color, and then buy a bigger batch. And if you really like the color, stick with the same supplier, because otherwise different suppliers would probably mean different shades of black, like in my case. Because I made the drawer a bit wider than it should, I didn't have enough wiggle room from the left and right side. So I decided to put few drops of glue and put the drawer in, making sure it's not touching any side. And afterwards I did come back and put some screws in to hold it properly. I used the ruler to bring it up a little bit and it was actually perfect size for me. And I did leave the back open so I have an easy access to screw in the drawer. Otherwise it would be a bit harder to mount it properly. I still had to do some small adjustments, but overall it was an easy part of it. After finishing with the drawer, I did put the back plate on. The only mistake I've done was forgetting to do a small cut for the power cable to go in. And I will show this process in the end, doing it with a utility knife. And it does look a little bit messy and it would have looked way better doing it separately. But in the end you need to do what you need to do and nobody will see it as it will be from the back end. The legs were the most expensive part of this build. I think they were $35. I got them from Amazon. They're more of a heavy duty ones, so you can use them for really heavy furniture. But they do look great with this build, and also the copper cover matches the front plate. This is when I realized my mistake and I'm doing the cut behind so I can feed the cable in. And this is how the bedside table looks in my bedroom. I like how it looks overall. There's no clutter, you don't need any cables to charge your phone, you can just place it down and it will start charging. Tell me what you think of this build in the comments. I actually like getting feedback. I might be biased, but it looks like it turned out great for me. That's it from me. Don't forget to like and subscribe and see you on the next video.